So welcome to the Everyday Heroes podcast. I'm Philip Brady, and I'm delighted to be joined by my friend and chum and fellow tank, Andrew Lawlor. And I'm delighted to get to have a conversation with you, really, and kind of walk through your hero's journey. But really what I'm trying to do is just share stories, Andrew, of people who you could be beside in the queue in Sainsbury's or Tesco, not realize how inspiring they are to so many people. And so I'm trying to just tell these stories so that normal people like you and I will also feel inspired to live up to that. So thank you for being on the Everyday Heroes podcast.
Thank you for having me, mate. I'm excited.
Nice.
I'm excited.
Likewise.
It's going to be a good conversation.
I hope so. And no doubt it will be. So most heroes on their journey start out with like a call to adventure. But first, before I get to that one, Andrew, just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're up to at the moment. What kind of chapter are you at in your life?
At the moment, I'm currently head tutor at ECA in Belfast. So most of my day sort of entails looking after people who want to become coaches and bringing them from not having a clue what a coach really is and what the industry entails to being a coach and being ready to go out and change lives. And then on the day-to-day stuff too, I will be coaching on the gym floor and kind of looking after some of our members. Taking a wee bit of a step back from that at the minute though, because we were talking, there's a full-time course on, and that is like 90% of my day. But yeah, mate, that's sort of where I'm at. It's good fun.
Nice. So helping people change lives.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's kind of how I like to put it.
Yeah, but it's true. I got a message off somebody that was on the course with me, and they said, "Oh, I'm having the best day ever. I'm changing lives today." I'm like, "Oh my, need to get me some of this."
Such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. Well, that's how we met. That's how we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Of course. Great course. I think I learned a lot on that course, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Every day I got up was just watching me teach. It was like, no, try this. And I was like, that's a fucking game changer. I was always just adding wee bits. It's class.
Nice. Tell us about your start to all of this. So where did your kind of move into this space come from? Or what was the trigger? Or we call a call to adventure in this kind of hero's journey, but what was the move into this space? Because it wasn't what you were always doing, right?
No, I actually joked about this on me and Steve's podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I think I'm the only 24-year-old who's had as many jobs as I've had in such a short space of time. So like I've always kind of worked when I was about 14. Me and you are big time in the cars. So my first job was actually working with cars, being a tire fitter and a detailer. So I kind of done that for a wee while, and then still in and out of school. Worked in Royal Mail for a wee bit, and going through school was kind of in and out of that job when I could work. And then at the end of school, I absolutely fucked up my A levels, like completely fucked them up. My GCSEs were great. My AS levels were like, oh, he's doing okay. And then A2, I just fell out of love with school. The process was like, I don't fucking want to be here. So at the end, I always remember the brown envelope. I don't know if you guys do this in the South, do you get the brown envelope? So we basically walked in, me and all my mates. There's a big brown envelope that you get with all your results in it. And everyone was putting out the results like, fuck, class, get into uni, this is class. I pulled out my brown envelope and was like, oh, yep, didn't get into uni. It's like 3 C's or something. And I needed an A and 2 B's. So straight home to clearing on University of Ulster, and I got on to civil engineering, which I was like, fuck, I'm shit at maths, but I'll give it a go. And quickly realized I was like, fuck, I have to be really good at maths if I want to do this course. But did that for a year and then dropped out, and I went into management in Tesco because I was still working there part-time. So I took a full-time job there, and basically the job entailed stacking bread at 5:30 in the morning. And I was like, fuck, this is... And at the time I was listening to the likes of Andy Frisella and Bedros Keuilian and do all those crazy dudes who are just like, go hard or go home. And a wee bit of Vancouver and stuff. And it was those guys that were sort of like lighting that wee fire in me to go fucking just go and do what you want to do. So I remember one morning people were cracking up because it was like loads of bread going to waste or some fucking stupid shit in Tesco. And I was like, why are you like, this doesn't matter. I was like, this is not a big deal. I was like, it's a fucking loaf of Hovis. Like it's not a massive deal. So it was after that, I just went, you know what, fuck this. So I went and spoke to Paddy Joe and Lenny, and they got me on to, I think it was like their second or third elite course. And then from there, I was like, fuck, you know what, I'm going to do this thing. Naturally, everyone telling me it was a stupid move, shit job, all that shit. And that the Tesco job was the safe job.
Yeah.
But fast forward 2 years, my role would have been looking after the deli counter, the bakery, and all the things that Tesco got rid of. So I wouldn't have actually had a job anyway. So it could have been that thing where I'd have just waited 2 years and then I fuck up no job, I'll go and do it now. But yeah, I kind of got rid of that. I could see it happening anyway when I was in Tesco. I seen the numbers every week, and they weren't great. It was like, oh fuck, multi-billion-pound company, and it was costing them hundreds of thousands to keep these open. So I was like, ah fuck, they're gonna get rid of these. So I kind of foreseen that, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go and do what I want to do. And I didn't have any massive responsibilities at the time, so I could just ditch.
Yeah.
Which I don't advise people to do. I just ditched my job and went full time. But yeah, I made it work. So that's kind of how I got started in the job I'm in now. And then kind of slowly, obviously, built my way up in the academy. You know, I always said I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a tutor. I didn't want to just be a coach. So obviously that was facilitated for me. And I've kind of built my way up from that over the last 3 years. I've been working on that. And I'm kind of, Lenny's kind of just happily went, yeah, you just run it, with the help of Megan, of course, because if she wasn't there, I'd probably bankrupt the fucking company or something.
But again, people see you at the front of the room and they don't realize it's taken you 3 years to walk to the front, you could say, with your development and the experience and the opportunities and stuff. So people go, yeah, oh, I want to be able to do that. But they start and it's like, oh, 3 years. Or they just go, how come it's not immediate? They forget about all that stuff that takes time.
Yeah, man, because like you would have seen it happen, you know, some of the guys that have come up and like, ah, fuck, you're so far ahead or you're so knowledgeable. And even before me getting in the industry, like I've been training from I was 13. So I've been in gyms for like 12 years now. And all that experience alongside all my coaching experience, like all of that has kind of come together to give me the ability to teach. So it's been like 12, 13 years, you may say. But as you say, like people see that and they're like, no, I don't want to wait that long, because of like that whole instant gratification that we all have now. But for me, like that journey is the best part, where you can look back and you can have these conversations. You can joke, you can laugh about the lessons, about the good times, the bad times. And like, even before I get into teaching, I always tell people this, like I sat in the corner of the room for like 6 or 7 months, didn't say a word, didn't get paid, nothing, just sat taking notes, watching Lenny and PJ teach, watching how the course was run, and just sort of built on that experience. And then I get given the opportunity to go and teach. So even there are people may say, if you want to put it bluntly, like I was eating shit because I wasn't getting paid or wasn't. But for me, I was getting paid an experience and getting paid an opportunity, not monetary getting paid like most people would want, which is or expect.
Yeah.
But I think it's be okay with eating shit for a wee while and it'll pay off. Yeah. I've kind of always had that.
And those skills as well, though, that you're learning, they compound into the future. They're not just the thing that you get and that's it. It's like you leave with that wherever you are.
Yeah.
We forget that,
Yeah. And even along the way too, mate, I got to meet people like you. I've met some great people who've I've hopefully added value to, and who they've added a ton of value to me. And even there, like I always talk about networking, like that's invaluable. Like you can't put a price on that. Yeah. Somebody to teach you a skill, like you might have to fucking pay somebody hundreds of thousands to teach you a skill.
Yeah.
Whereas you can just network and make friends, and these people can go, oh no, I'll just help you with this. And then, as you say, you're building these skills and attributes that you can then take anywhere with you.
Yes. And it's the people that they know that they can introduce you to.
Yeah, yeah.
Which again is saving you time, but connecting you to the right people that'll help you achieve whatever it is that you want anyway.
Exactly. I think people need to have that foresight, especially getting into this industry. If you want to get into fitness or whatever it is, you have to have that foresight of who can I get to know and who can I be friends with. It's not who can I extract from, but who can I go and add value to, and then hopefully in return at some stage they might offer me some value back or whatever it is. But even if they don't, you have a good ally in the industry that you can lean on.
It's like a value bank account or a transaction. You're topping it up even before you even ever think about withdrawing.
Yeah. And the more you can, add to that, the bigger the withdrawal can be.
Yes.
In the long run.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing about this industry. If people want to work with you, obviously not everyone's like that, but we'll not talk about those people.
And when you were moving from steady, safe, according to other people, so again, other people's opinions can hold you back, but were you ever nervous about making that move as well? Like, were you hesitant, or like, how did you make sense of that transition? Because it's commitment.
I think it was. Yeah, I mean, it was a big jump. I was on good money and steady hours, and I had a routine and all that shit. And obviously nerves kicked in. Like, I'm not going to say it was an easy thing to do. Like, you'll hear people say it was easy. It's never easy to do. I think I was just that frustrated that I was like, I fucking have to do it. Like, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And I was seeing all my mates going to uni and doing things they wanted to do, and there was people maybe getting jobs that they wanted to get and whatever. And I was like, I fucking said from I was 16 that I wanted to do this, and I was touching. The dog's just wrecking the place here. I was touching 20 at the time, and I was like, fuck, 3-4 years of saying I'm going to do it. I don't want to be known as the dude who says he's going to do shit and then never does it. So for me, it was an easy jump because I was that frustrated with where I was at. I don't think I had support from everyone. There was obviously people around me that were like, I'm lucky to have good friends that way. That were just like, yeah, mate, just go for it. Why not? And then my mum, she always said about, you could shovel shit in the street as long as you're happy. I don't really care. My dad would have been a bit more hesitant. He wouldn't have been as supportive because he was just that old school mindset of uni, salary, get a house, settle down, all that shit. But I think, when he sort of seen where I've got to, fast forward a couple of years, he's kind of eating his words a wee bit and went, oh fuck, maybe it is a real job. But yeah, for me it was easy. I've never kind of relied on other people to make a decision, which is a good and bad attribute. Megan hates me for that. But like I don't need people's like yes to go and do something I want to do. And for me, I knew the impact I could have had and I wanted to have, and that far outweighed a safe job. Wasn't safe, fucking doesn't exist no more. But that need and desire to go and help other people for me was just, I was like, that's a no-brainer. And then because I knew who I was going to be working with as well, like it was Danielle, she's a good friend of mine that owns the little gym in Crumlin. She put me on to, and Orla, they put me on to PJ and Lenny, and I seen what they've done, and I got to know them, and I trusted them enough. So when they told me, listen, we can help you, I was like, all right, okay, I'm in good hands here. And then obviously they offered me a job, and when I got offered that, again, I had good people around me that went, if you don't take that, you're fucking mental. And I was like, all right, okay, I'll take the job. Because I had a self-employed role lined up, but it was in Danielle's place, and she just went, yeah, you don't have a spot in my gym anymore because you're going to take that other job, which I'm glad she done. I'm glad she done for me because it helped. But yeah, I think hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah, it totally does. But again, it's the people around you, because that's going to be kind of like the next question is like, when you made that commitment to jump or to move or to just move towards what it is that you wanted, like, how did you get the support, or who were the people that supported you along that way? Like, for example, in Lord of the Rings, it's like a Gandalf. Like, who are these Gandalfs that are around you that just kind of not steer, but kind of just like gently guide you along the way, like you said about Bedros and those kind of people in your ear, so you were listening to them. So again, they're nearly on your shoulder telling you, no, like go for it, that kind of thing. But were there other people like that around that you were kind of spending time with or getting guidance from?
Yeah, I mean, like Danielle, she was a good example. She was probably my first sort of like fitness mentor, like proper coach. And she was always, she's a rocket, like, but she was always like, just fucking do it. It's just like, why would you not do it? There's people like her, and then my mum, she was just like, whatever makes you happy. Like, if you're gonna be happy doing that, just go and fucking do it. Like my dad, in a way, to be like, listen, be cautious too. Like, don't be just jumping in head first, because he knows what I'm like. But and then when I got to know, the likes of PJ and Lenny, those guys were very supportive, no matter what you wanted to do. And I even remember them going, what do you want to do after? And I was like, oh fuck, I'd love to work here. And I'd said that a couple of times, and I think I was unknowingly planting the seed there to be like, do you reckon you give me a job? But yeah, then them two were very supportive and going, listen, I think, you have a lot of potential. And they helped me along the journey of actually navigating what the fuck coaching is, because it's so complex. But yeah, at the start, it was definitely those sort of couple of people. And then the likes of Steve-O as well. Steve-O took me under his wing pretty early on, which was class. He was coming up the train with me and stuff. But those kind of people, having those around me. And then, one of my good friends, Adam, he's been my best mate forever. Like, he's another guy that's just like, yeah, mate, just fucking do it. He's like, why would you not do it? Because me and him are quite alike that way. We don't need nobody's approval. We'll do some shit, and then people go, what the fuck's wrong with you two? Yeah. But yeah, even there, mate, like, I've always been lucky that way. Like, my group of friends and stuff too have always been really supportive of what I want to do. Like, I know some people go, oh, my friends hold me back or whatever. Like, I've never found that. Like, they're all really fucking supportive in anything that you do. So I've been lucky to kind of have that around me. But if there is anyone that's not supportive, I'm very good at just going, nah, I don't want to listen to you, because I know they're just going to try and put me off what I want to do anyway.
And if there's people listening as well who don't have those people that are encouraging them to kind of step outside of what they're doing, and don't maybe have that kind of friend circle that you have, like, what advice would you give for people that have friends like that are probably holding them back?
It can be hard, because it's all that would be the first thing, because like, if that's your friend group, that's your friend group. You've got, like, you feel like you've got nobody else, but you do. It's the room that you're in. What are they interested in? What are they interested in doing? And where are they going? And you really have to be honest and look at that and go, are they going anywhere? If not, are you going to stay with them? Because that's going to benefit you. And if you do cut ties with them, again, try and put yourself in a room of people that are doing the same shit that you want to do or better. Yes. And try and add value. Don't just come in and go, oh, I'm going to take. Like, try and go into that room and try to add as much value as you can. Like, an example I can give of how I done it was when I first started the course a couple of years ago. I used to stay behind and just go, here, just need a hand cleaning up, or do you need a hand doing some shit, or like, do you just want to get a training session in? Is there anything I can do to help you? Like, I just went in with that and no expectation back, and then slowly built like a little friend circle in there.
Yes.
And that's how I've kind of transitioned as well, to having essentially a new group of friends. But lucky for me, my old friends are still my friends. But yeah. I think you just need to have a really good look and think about where your friend group are going, and ask yourself, is it worth it? Like, if it's drinking and partying and all that shit, because that's normally where it is with people. They don't want to let go of that. Ask yourself, is it serving you?
Well, it's so maybe to catch it, it's not the drinking and partying that they don't want to give up. It's the feeling of approval that comes from being in that circle of, well, this is what my friends do, so it must be cool. So it's actually giving up the approval, or it's actually your parents' love wrapped up in approval from your peer group that we crave and that we desire and that we will give up who we are for. But instead, the power I think that happens when people get to your door and want to be a PT is they go, nah, fuck it. I don't want that anymore. I want to start writing who I am rather than inheriting or having to be somebody that I'm not. And when that pain isn't great enough, they won't even write that story for themselves. They let other people write it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck, I love that, man. I'm going to clip that and I'm going to keep that. But yeah, man, I think, like, yeah, going back to what you're saying about the pain, if anyone's kind of at that crossroad now, they know. They'll know from being out that weekend or whatever. Because I've been there. You're standing in a bar, you have a pint in your hand, you haven't really been drinking, but you have a pint in your hand, you're going, what the fuck am I doing? And it's when you come to that crossroad, that's when the change will happen. If you're not there yet, like, I'll be honest, you'll probably be where you are for another while before something happens where you go, do you know what, I'm done. I'm fucking fed up with just drinking every weekend and getting like false approval. You know, it's not supportive.
Yes.
And realistically, like, what are you missing? You know, it's like I went out again for a mate's birthday there on Saturday, and Megan messaged me like 11:30 and was like, what time do you want picked up at? I was like, about 20 minutes ago. Because it was just like, it's the same shit here. I got a couple of pints and went, you know what, yeah, I'm going home now. Whereas rewind 4 years, 5 years, I'd have been the dude that was out for 2 days, and I'd have happily done that. Whereas now I just know I'm like, I'm not missing anything. And then you message the people the next day and it's like, oh, what happened last night? They went, oh, nothing. Had another 2 pints and then I went home. I'm like, all right, okay, cool.
But I also think, and I wonder, do people even remember what it's like to feel good? Because they just get caught in that loop of stressed, have a drink to unstress at the weekend, hungover, repeat the cycle. So they can't remember like that when you've not drank, let's say, for a while. Do they even remember what it's like to feel energy or alive or excitement or just not stressed, not tired, not hungover? Do you know what I mean? It's mad.
Yeah, man, it's fucking. I think lockdown was probably the first time people have felt like that without drink.
Yeah.
You know, where people are getting like cold water, walking in nature, eating good food, exercising, all the things, you know, PTs advocate. But I think that's probably the first time. But then obviously lockdown ended and people went, bars are open. There was that old Irish mentality, just back in and get pissed.
Yeah.
And then that's been lost again. But yeah, it's easy to when as you say, when the pain's great enough, or when your drive, the change is great enough, it's easy to leave all that behind. Like it's no issue to do that. In my opinion anyway, or from what I've found.
Yeah. And you were saying about kind of eating shit for a while. So what were some of the kind of challenges that you've been that you've experienced that, again, people will see you at the front of the room teaching the course around people becoming PTs, but they don't see the walk or the journey towards the front of the room. And it's not always Instagrammable. So what are some of those kind of challenges that you've had to like overcome or move through?
Yeah, I love that. It's not Instagrammable.
It's not.
Yeah, there's too much shit that's Instagrammable now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, mate, there was one time when I was coaching, and I remember the boys saying to me, listen, we'll do what we can to give you the hours that you need. But there was a wee bit more of a team on board and stuff, and me and Megan, we had just started sort of seeing each other. And I remember at the time we were both coaching, and we both got 8 hours each on the gym floor, like for the week. 8 hours, that was it. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to be skint this month. So already you're panicking. But even then, outside of the 8 hours, I was like, I'm going to show them that I'm a fucking asset and that I need to be given more and that I want the gym to do better. I want us all to be doing better. So there was times where, you know, maybe 10:30 after coaching and stuff, I'm still there cleaning floors, making sure the gym's tidy, rearranging things, and making sure for the next morning for me coming back in, the place is fucking gleaming, because I knew Lenny and PJ would probably be there earlier. So there was times where us and the team done that. Or like as I say, learning to teach, just sitting in the corner of the room, not getting paid, not getting any recognition, not getting anything for it other than the experience and the the learning. That's all I was there for. I was just like, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to take notes. I'm going to record some shit. I'm going to learn how to do this. Those wee moments for me are, if you want to say, eating shit, but they're what's going to pay off in the long run. You don't always have to be at the forefront. You don't always have to be getting the likes on Instagram. You don't have to be the big name or want the blue tick or whatever. There's other ways that you can learn and develop. And I think the longer at the start of your career anyway, you kind of hide away and learn and develop attributes and character traits and skills. Whenever then people do start to realize who you are, what you've got to say, you can handle that and you can convey it in a way that people understand and appreciate. Because I think, it's probably what a lot of coaches want is Instagram fame. And it's not going to pay the bills. It's fucking shit. Like, we know people with a lot of followers and they're like, it doesn't do anything for you.
Just increases anxiety about what you do, what you don't do to keep it up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Alex Hormozi would say, what is it? Just wealth is better than fame. So you want to be really wealthy and not famous.
I think people associate them together though,
100%.
don't they think if you're famous, you're wealthy.
Yeah.
Like if anyone, plenty of wealthy people who nobody has a fucking clue who they are.
No.
And they're probably better off than being famous. I'd rather just drive a Lamborghini and nobody know who I am than everyone know who I am and not drive a Lamborghini.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? We have it upside down.
Yeah. But I think for me, mate, it's especially younger coaches or early in their career. They don't be chasing fame on Instagram or followers on Instagram. That's not how you have the impact. The impact is the person in front of you and what you can add to them and the value you can add, because that person might go and add it to another two people. And then those two people will add it to two people on their own. And it's like that compound effect of one individual. Because even I had a conversation yesterday about, some of the full-time guys getting clients on board. And I was like, if you can just aim to get 5 people, that's probably enough for you right now. 5 to 10 people. So it was like, if I handed you your Instagram following, which is probably a couple of hundred people, and said, here's all your clients, you would shit a brick. You wouldn't have anything. Yeah, shit would just break straight away. So I think it's a small, like, learn one thing, get good at it, add to the next thing, add to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. And just focus on getting good at your craft. Like, be a really, right? Yeah, I know. Be a really good fucking coach, and everyone will want to come and work with you. That's what I found. Like, any of the big guys we know in the industry, Luca, Alex Hormozi, any of those guys, they're just really fucking good at their job. That's it. They've no special superpower or anything. They're just class at their job. People are like, oh, okay, I'm going to work with this guy.
Yeah. But again, it's people nobody was born with those things. We forget that we can learn all of what other people that are really good at stuff. We just don't give ourselves the time. Yeah. Time's the biggest one. I spoke about this before on our podcast, mate, and it's having the foresight, I think, to just go, I'm going to spend the next 10 years learning what my job is and becoming really good at it. Yeah. Like, any CEO in the world that's top of a company has spent like 25, 30 years in the company and knows the company inside out. Yes. They do rotations, different countries, different jurisdictions. They leave the company deliberately to come back and see it literally from a fresh perspective. Mm-hmm. I've coached some of them. It's wild. Yeah. You wouldn't believe even the CEOs next in line that would take the job eventually. The development that's focused on that person. I was working with somebody a couple of years ago, and more or less the CEO said to her, what job do you want? What would you like to do next? We'll make it happen. Whatever you want. It's crazy. so that she would get the skills, network, all that kind of stuff that would position her for that next move. It's crazy.
And
Travel,
that's the key thing there. I think that, like, positioning yourself to be ready for the next thing.
Yes.
But people don't see that. People just see CEO.
Yes.
Or people just see top of your game.
Yes.
And it's like they've spent 25, 30, 40 years sometimes laying this fucking class foundation so that the peak can be even higher. But nobody wants it. It's not Instagrammable.
Yes.
It's not the sexy answer.
Yeah. Like Katie went out the other evening. Like nobody knows how much I lived this stuff. 2000? I got my first Tony Robbins book. I was 12, right? Nobody sees this, right? And last Thursday night, Katie was out for a couple of drinks. And do you know what I was doing? I was on a webinar with Phil Graham and like a load of other fitness coaches. I'm not a PT, but I'm like, I'm going to soak in. Do you know what I love doing on an evening off?
Learning, mate. Like that's why you are where you are, though, because you spent fucking how long just learning. Like you have to you just have to fucking accept, like, I'm gonna ask for help. I think it's the biggest thing. I'm just asking for help.
Yeah.
Like, it was the same when I learned sales. Yeah. I was shit at sales.
You weren't born good at sales, Andrew, no?
No, mate.
I'll never be good at sales. I'm not that kind of person, right? Right?
Yeah. Like, I fucking hated speaking to people on the phone. I wouldn't even ring a Chinese when I was younger. How bad I was. Like, and I remember getting 20 no's in a row. 20 no's.
Yeah.
And over lockdown, I went, remember the big 6-month one? Keep mentioning lockdown. I don't know where else it's going to get flagged or not. But like, I think it was a good 4 or 5 months. I got up every morning at 5 a.m. Like, Megan will tell you, she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just lie in bed. But I got up every morning at 5 a.m. and I opened up a Jason Capital like course that I had bought and a Craig Ballantyne one. And I was just learning sales. That was it for 5 or 6 months or something. Came back, and then Lenny was like, do you want to do some sales? I was like, yep. Like, can near enough close every sale that I go on to without sounding like a sleazy, weird fucking salesman.
Yeah.
But again, it's shit. It was like, okay, I'm shit at this. I'm gonna learn it. And now I can say I'm all right at it. Like, I'm still learning, but I'm all right at it. Yeah. And that was the same what most people do over the lockdowns and stuff. Fucking drank, partied, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, you just have to be willing to eat shit and then just commit time to learning and sacrificing maybe some fun as well. Because you say you were sitting in the house when Katie was out having a couple of drinks. But I think that sacrifice will pay off.
But I also, like, I enjoy learning. I get a lot of energy when I get a new insight. So it's not like fun can look different to different people. Like, learning is very high in my values. So I need that. And when I don't have that, I don't have as much energy. And it's not that if you have nothing to share, it's because you're not learning enough. Right. And if what Lenny caught with me was I was clinging to my knowledge. And again, I've worked on this. Like, I'm working with 3 coaches at the moment and a therapist. I'm going to my therapist on Thursday. I'm doing the work on this stuff because I live it and I breathe it. But my therapist was like, your knowledge is so tied to your identity that if somebody was to give out or disagree with your knowledge, you would actually take it personally. And it got triggered. Absolutely. Somebody that I respect as a coach said to me, nah, you're wrong about that. I'm like, personal attack, no approval, right? So therefore no love. So it gets triggered from the parents, love or approval. Crazy. But that's my fun. That's my level of fun. Like, I enjoy learning. It's what I'm built for. Hence there's books all around the room.
Yeah. I mean, your big collection, I'm jealous of it. But I'm trying to add to mine. Yeah, I think part of that as well, mate, growing up a little and maturing. I see this in real time because I see a lot of younger coaches, and then I see ones who are kind of like middle of the road, like, mid-20s, kind of around my age, and then older ones coming in. 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s. And I find the older that they get, the more willing they are to learn and just spend time learning and enjoy learning. When they're younger, they're still in the mindset of like learning is school.
Yes.
They're in that I have to learn, not I get to learn.
Yes.
And I think because I was the same when I was younger, I was like, that can't be arts reading. But the more I matured and the more I realized how important like reading is, or going to seminars or whatever it is, like I kind of went, oh fuck, you know what? This is actually fun because I'm learning the craft that I love. It's a subject I enjoy, not like school, like maths. I didn't enjoy that. So if somebody tries to teach me that, I'm like, fuck off. No, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it's probably find what you enjoy learning too. It's the same with coaching. I don't enjoy nutrition. So I don't read on it. I don't research it. I don't look into it because I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like my nutrition's quite basic. Even in my own life, I have a fair knowledge of it. And I'm like, okay, but learning it and teaching it, I'm like, don't want to know. Flip the other side, like anatomy, mobility, rehab, corrective, strength training, all of that. I'm like, fuck, I love that shit. I'll learn that. And I enjoy teaching that. I think it's finding what you're interested in and being okay with it. You know, as a coach, you don't have to be the everything coach. You can just be like, I don't enjoy that.
Yeah. Like
which
trade-offs. Again, is it you want to build your business or you want to be out partying every weekend? There's trade-offs on both sides.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's another big one too. I think a lot of coaches forget that they're going to build a business, big or small.
Yes.
They're in charge of their own, unless they're employed in an employed role, you know. But even then, like I'm in an employed role, but the lads are very like, you can, if you do the work and you can make roles or whatever, which is good, but a lot of them forget that they're in charge of paying themselves essentially. And it's like, you're not taking that seriously enough.
Yeah. And if you're not being paid, you're not doing the work.
Yeah.
Or there's something in your skill set that you haven't got dialed up.
Yeah. Which is then where coaching comes into it. And I can't believe how many coaches out there won't invest in coaching, even though they expect people to invest in them to be their coach. It's a real fucked up, broken cycle. Yes. And when I try to tell coaches to invest in themselves, they're like, fuck, I don't know, it's a bit there. Like, I'm going, fuck, if you're saying that, what are your potential clients saying?
Yeah.
Because they don't believe in coaching, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Tell me about just before we move on, like just you saying you've got essentially 4 coaches.
Yeah, three and a therapist.
Like, no doubt you sort of know the stuff that they're probably coaching you on a little bit.
Some absolutely no.
So
for example, one is on business, one is on mindset, one is just on like deepening my coaching to like this guy is like deeper than deep. Like, you think I'm impressive, this guy is just otherworldly. And then it's the therapist to nearly like, what am I dragging forward that I can let go of? Because coaching is future focused. Where are you going? What could you do? Let's go, more or less. But there's a deepening in building relationships and all that kind of stuff. And going forward, how will you better connect? How will you ask better questions, or just be more curious about the situation? So they're the kind of like, it's a layer beyond, let me just ask a question. It's a like, what were you steering towards? And is that about you or them? All this kind of stuff, right? So that's it's nearly supervision that therapists would get for coaches. It's kind of that kind of work as well. But then with therapy, it's what are you dragging forward that you can let go of or loosen a little bit. So like, I need that for the work that I do. I was talking to a guy recently, and his thing is, I've always prioritized my business. Now I'm like unbelievably senior and I forget who I am. I don't know what I want. Right? So if I'm not doing the work and I get to that situation, I'll just go, well, she just quit.
Yeah.
That'll solve the problem. But it's like, no, that's not the thing.
But yeah, that's not going to help. Yeah. But like that's what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of shit that, you know, like you've obviously spent time studying the subject and you have the answers there, but you see the value in coaching and outside eyes and perspective.
100%.
So in you saying and you doing that, it adds more credibility to you as a coach, so that when people are coming to work with you, they know, fuck, Phil's serious about his job. So, and it's the exact same with PTs. You know, it's like how many, like, not that it's a fucking, you have to have 20 coaches, but, you know, have you got a coach or two that are teaching you how to be fucking quality at your job? So that when you do tell people that, they're like, oh, fuck here, well, if he has a coach, he's serious. And if they know you're serious, they'd be more willing to fucking work with you and invest in you.
100%. I've spent more this quarter on myself than I've ever done. It's a lot of money. Like, it's probably more money than I was comfortable telling Katie. I haven't told her how much I'm spending. but I know it's a, what is it? Every level has a new devil. So like, I don't know that next level for me.
Yeah.
So what if I ask somebody and I get their coaching? I can't see any of this clearly, so I'll get help. I'm filling in a thing about tuning into your target market. I didn't know the questions to ask myself.
Yeah.
And
But it's that short-term investment that's gonna bring you to the next level, which you're okay with, which is the whole point of coaching.
Yeah. Time. What a thing.
Yeah. You have the foresight for that though, because you can look back over the last however long you've been doing this for and go, it's taken me this long to get to here. I'm gonna go with the journey for the next bit.
Yeah. And I still don't have a clue like what 5-10 year vision is, but I know roughly what it includes. And sometimes that's enough.
Most people don't. It changes.
Yeah.
You asked me 5 years ago, would I be here now? I'd have laughed at you. I didn't even know this job existed.
Yeah.
So it can change. But yeah, I think a rough idea or direction is fine.
Yes.
And like little micro adjustments as you go.
Yes.
Because I'm fairly sure, I don't know whether Lenny will agree or not, or PJ, but I'm fairly sure the 5-year plan that we had is like, oh, that changed. And then you just kind of micro adjust to it.
Yeah.
Or things like that. So, because there's products and stuff you can add on, and maybe roles that come up that you're like, fuck, I didn't know that was a role or whatever. So yeah, have an idea. Don't have a full 5-year plan, because if it doesn't go to plan, you'll shit yourself.
Yeah. Tell me about when it gets difficult, how you support yourself. So what kind of keeps you going? What do you focus on? What kind of moves you forward?
It's a great question, mate. I've never actually thought about this. That's the one question when I read it, I went, fuck. I've been thinking about this for a while. For me, mate, like I don't think I operate like most other people. Like I don't really, I just kind of work. Like I just put my head down and work, which, annoys some people. And, it's an ongoing joke in the gym, and it's something that Patty Joe and even Megan and stuff are like, you need to stop fucking working. Like, so there's never really a time where I'm sort of like in a difficult spot. But I think if I am struggling a little bit, like if I'm sort of like, because I have moments, where I'm like, fuck, is this worth it or whatever? I kind of just take a wee step back and remember why I'm doing it and what I'm doing this for. And I remember reading a book by Ryan Holiday, Stillness is the Key, which is a fantastic book. It was actually the audio of it, which is a great book. And I think when my stillness kind of changes a little here and there, but if I take like a couple of hours out every week, here and there, and I just do something that completely takes my mind off things, it kind of recharges me a wee bit, and I'm okay with going back in back into problem solving. I don't ask. It's not a great trait to have, but I'm not a talker when I've got a problem. I like to kind of go into myself first, realize what the problem is, and then I'll express what I was feeling with other people. And it's something I'm working on. Megan hates me doing it, but I go very quiet. And it's just all how I've always dealt with things. So it's things like jiu-jitsu. When I started that, for an hour, you can't think of anything else other than this fucker is trying to break my arm or break my leg.
Yeah.
So
tear my rotator cuff.
yeah, tore your rotator cuff. So for me, that's a great way for me to just be still. And I find after that, I've like, fuck, like I can solve a problem or whatever. Cooking is another one. I put my phone away, my laptop, all distractions, and I just get creative in the kitchen.
Nice.
It's just something it's something I've always enjoyed doing. Barbecuing as well. Love barbecuing. Like even after this, I've got some pork belly marinating. Going to do it for tacos tonight. But things like that for me, it's like a wee creative spark outside of my job. I enjoy doing. But yeah, I think having a stillness, and for anyone that doesn't know what stillness is, it's something where you're outside of your problem. You can't think about the problem. Like Ryan Holiday talks about it as like chop wood, carry water. So when he's got a problem, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water. Like he just keeps saying that, and it's just getting into a rhythmic thinking, and then you suddenly you're like, oh fuck, I can solve this problem. Like it's not that bad. But yeah, I'm not an overly emotional person, so I don't I don't project my feelings on the people. I kind of go into myself and deal with things that way. But I found that helps me. I like to sit and think and problem solve. It's part of my job, so I'll problem solve myself a little, and then if I do need help, I'm okay with asking for help.
Yeah,
which is a big thing.
Yeah, not a sign of weakness, sign of strength.
Oh, big time. Because there's people out there that might have the answers to the problem that you have. So if you can't figure it out. Just be like, I've got this problem. I need help. Took me a long time to learn that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a learned behavior, I think, from my dad. He's quite like that. Like he just deal with shit on his own, and I've seen how self-destructive that can be. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna ask people for help if I need help. I can't just suffer in silence. Because again, even coaching, you tell people not to suffer in silence. Yet no, I was doing it. So I think for me, maybe, yeah, like if there's a problem, one, I've got a stillness, jiu-jitsu or cooking, or cleaning my car. Sounds mad, but it's like doing that. And just being in the problem and kind of thinking about it. And if I need help, I'll just ask for help. Hope that answers that question.
Yeah, it does. And we can talk about moving to the edge of that a little bit so that your problem solving can improve. So, for example, your problem solving ability will be limited to the space between your two ears.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Literally, if you share it with somebody else, you've like increased the space between you to think about the problem. So yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot, because again, this is why I get therapy, is because there's patterns of the past that I'll use for every problem, because we're rationalizing animals not rational. So we'll come up with a hypothesis or a thing that we think is true and come up with evidence to make that true, rather than thinking clearly about the thing. So it's all there's times and places for external perspectives, and there's times when trust your wisdom. And again, that comes back to the previous thing I was saying about that guy who's just lost who he is, because he's always looks outside of himself for the answer. So it's never a one or the other. There's always a balance. So it sounds like you know when to go out and you know when to go in.
Yeah, because I even remember doing the disc profiling, and it came up that I was quite high dominance. It's like I just make a decision, and do it, and then deal with the repercussions after.
Yes.
Which again, I know works for some things, and I know won't work for others. But yeah, I know when the problem is a me problem, and I know when the problem is like, oh, I need help with this thing.
Yes. When you look back over this journey that you've been on, what are some of the kind of lessons that stand out as like highlights or like glimmers in that journey?
I think a big one for me was, like taking over the academy was definitely a big thing. In my career, that was a cool moment, being given that opportunity to run that, especially after, essentially working your balls off for a couple of years to get it.
Yeah.
That was a cool one. Me and Megan getting our sort of first house together was another cool moment, because it was something we had planned and spoke about, and obviously again happened through work. That's how we met each other, which was awesome. Yeah, there's been a couple of cool moments. The summit was definitely another one. That was fucking awesome. Getting to meet people who they're the reason you're in the industry. That's fucking cool. Like, that is when you're sort of like, holy shit, 10 years ago or whatever, when I first started, like Jay Alderton, first started following him, I was like, I'll never meet this dude. And then next thing you're telling them how to use a clicker that he doesn't know how to use. That's fucking pain in my life, mate. But yeah, I'm gonna drop like $5,000 on a really good clicker for next year.
Yeah.
But
called Steve or something.
Yeah.
Hey Steve,
just point to the back of the room. Just point slowly. We'll bring it back. Yeah, man, that's been cool. What else? Fuck, there's been a load of shit looking back on it because of my job. Getting Satanta. I wouldn't have had Satanta if I didn't know Lenny, because I would never have met Harry.
Yeah.
So that's another cool one. And then yeah, I mean, just set, like, for me, the big one, you can hear him eating here. Just setting goals and just doing shit, I think, is a big thing for me, because for so long it was like feeling lost and not knowing where I was going with my career and with where I wanted to go in life and with what I wanted to do. And I think finding my purpose, sounds so cliche, but finding why I'm doing this stuff, and then just ticking little things off as I'm going that I've set over the years. And I've went, you know what, like, if you just write down the shit you want to do, and then just start doing it. Just take action on it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just start doing some shit. Yeah, but I think the biggest one that stands out is probably being where I am now with the academy and stuff. That's a really fucking cool moment, because that's where I started. A wee naive 18-year-old. It's like, I want to be a teacher. And now I'm running it, which is cool.
Yeah. And when you kind of loop back and return home, so how do you show up differently with whether it's your friends or the people around you or the people you grew up with? Like, who do they now get when you're there versus who you were because of this journey?
When I was younger, mate, I was a very, very skinny, shy, like very introverted kind of kid. Wasn't as outgoing as I probably would come across as now. Was a fucking rocket when I was younger, but I was quite introverted. Now I think what people get is definitely a more confident me. I'm okay with making decisions. I'm okay with being a leader in a situation. And I'm definitely more compassionate and empathetic to people as well, because of my job.
Yeah.
So I think, again, in that sort of 5-6 year journey, if you want to say it like that, that definitely a better leader, more empathetic, more caring, and more patient me, I think, as well. It's probably a big one. Maybe Satanta's taught me that one. But yeah, those attributes are definitely something that have come out in me over the last couple of years. And I can see that people prefer that. You know, that's why people like being around me, because I'll listen to them and I'll have a good conversation with them. I like to have deep conversations now. I don't like to just chat shit, you know, like general surface level stuff. Even if I'm out drinking, you know, or if I'm having a couple of drinks and I catch up with some friends, we'll talk business, we'll talk where things are going, what the plans are, like all of that stuff. I think is, that's kind of what people get with me now. Whereas before it would have just been me staring at the floor, wearing a double XS Top Man t-shirt, not filling t-shirts or jeans out, and less tattoos.
What qualities do you think make people heroes?
What qualities do I think make people heroes? It's a great question, mate. Confidence in themselves, not just like confidence, because it's a very arbitrary thing, but confidence in who you are. I think is a big thing. Patience is another one. Empathy for where people are at. And the ability to be coachable. Being okay with not having all the answers.
Nice.
You know, be okay with being not the smartest person in the room. I think those would stand out for me, that would make people heroes.
We forget about the coachable one, but like, I'm sure, is it like the X-Men and they have people to show them how to do stuff? They're in training, Matrix, they download the programs and all that kind of thing, right? So I get it. I think that's a really good catch.
And anyone can be coachable. You don't have to be a coach to be coachable. Like anyone can be, just be okay with learning some stuff. That's how you level up in just in life in general, is just be like, right, what can this person teach me? I'll just listen to them. Unless they're an arsehole, then you don't have to listen to them.
And yet they can teach you too.
They can still teach you some shit.
I thought Elvis was an arsehole when he was a puppy, and I was right, but he also taught me an awful lot.
Oh yeah, mate, same with Satan. He's still teaching me. Teach me how to be patient, because he's just been ramming a Kong into my leg for the last half an hour.
Nice. Have you any questions for me?
I don't think so, mate. I think we had a really good conversation there. There's no questions that spring to mind. How do you be a tank? That's probably
at the moment, don't have shoulder surgery. That's probably the only answer.
When are you getting your gi back on? That's my question to you. When are we learning jiu-jitsu?
I actually don't know that Katie will let me do jiu-jitsu again. So I might need to not tell her about that as well.
We'll keep that. We'll keep
just
that
sneak
one
out on a Sunday morning. Philip, where are you going? I'm walking Elvis. Elvis is still in his room. What's going on?
Be like Batman. Just have your gi on under your coat.
Was there any questions I should have asked you that I didn't?
No, mate. I think that was nice. I really like the way it's laid out when you made it clear, like that sort of circle. But I think the questions kind of cover all bases. I might have rambled a wee bit too. So
it's designed to be a wander rather than here, then here, then here, then here. It's supposed to be
like a walk in the forest with you.
Like a walk in the forest.
Pointing out trees and shit.
Andrew, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.